Hey, if you've ever been hacked or scammed out of your hard-earned money, you're not alone. According to the FBI, in 2024, $16.6 billion were stolen. They are everywhere and they can strike at any time. And take it from me, it sucks. So we're gonna give you some tips today on how to protect your accounts from hackers and scammers. Today on Mindset with Brad Barrett. Let's go. Welcome back to Mindset. I am Brad Barrett. This is producer Jared. And as always, the lovely Kira. Today we have a good one for you. We're gonna talk about scammers and hackers. Now, I promise you it's actually gonna be a good show because I don't think any of us plan ever to be scammed or hacked, but sadly it happens to us a lot. So with that, we're gonna talk about specifically 6 ways to protect your accounts from hackers and scammers. Identity protection, money protection, bank accounts, savings accounts, investments, all of it. So stay tuned today. Have you guys ever been scammed before when you talk about something like this?
I haven't, but Dylan's grandparents just got scammed from you know how they'll like call you?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, oh, the gift card scam. Have you heard about that? Okay. That just happened to them. So they lost, I think, like $1,000. Yeah.
Jeez.
Really sad.
That's the problem. I think a lot of people don't have empathy. They're like, oh, how could they do that? Well, look, end of the day, these scammers and hackers, they're getting pretty good. So like, unless you're in the seat and happening to it, you can kind of be like, I don't know.
It's very sophisticated. My grandmother also, it was about 8 years ago, fell for it, and she swears they called her and she swears it was my voice. She's like, she called my dad, she's like, Jared's in trouble, so she went to Western Union and it was like $800.
Oh my gosh.
And my dad was like, and she's like, Jared's in jail, he needs help. And so my dad calls me, he's like, what are you doing? I was like driving home from breakfast, and I was like, no, I'm fine, I'm not, because the call said I was in New York and I was in California. And so he was able to get to Western Union and stop the payment in time.
Oh, that's good.
But she swears up and down, she's like, it was his voice. So, I mean, and
you know what's sad is both the examples have been from like elderly. I mean, the sad part is they're targeting elderly, which is hard. But here's the thing. It's happening to all of us because we're happy, and the emails are getting, like, we get at our firm here, we get emails from our compliance team and from our technology team saying, hey, watch out for these emails, because what they'll do is they'll mask the email looking like it's real, but if you click on it, open it up, it's like some crazy foreign email address or something like that. And the numbers of things like when the IRS calls you or something like that, they never call you. It's always done through the mail. And we're going to talk about that today because we're going to talk about specific things like credit cards versus debit cards, things to look out for. Because again, I want to be clear about this. I think a lot of us, if you clicked on this video, you're watching this, you're kind of like, this is all stuff I know. Let me tell you something. We did some research on this show. There are some things that were actually pretty eye-opening. In 2024, so a little over a year ago, over 2.6 million consumers reported fraud to the FTC. Now, I should say something about that there's got to be, we looked at this, there's a whole host of more than that, because a lot of times these kind of financial scams and hacks aren't even reported. Because they're just like, oh, it's a $100 gift card. Like, who am I going to report that to? Who's going to care? Which is a sad reality, but there's also that factor going on.
Especially elderly people. And I use my grandmother's example because she was like, she told my dad, she's like, don't tell Jared, don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
She was so embarrassed that she fell for it.
Yeah.
She didn't want to call the police. She didn't want to do anything. She just wanted to forget about it. And so I imagine this number is almost probably triple.
Oh, it's got to be. Now, here's the thing. To that point, we should say something kind of overarching between the steps and some of the ideas we have for you today is, Jared hit on it perfectly. Like, you have to understand what something is. This is not something to be prideful in. Like, it might happen to you and they're getting really good at it. So if you take the notion of like, I'm embarrassed, please don't. I mean, look, this happens to a lot of us, and it's something you got to make sure. The only way you can fix it is if you're open about it. By the way, that's true of most problems in our life, to be fair. But
it's
that's
like a car accident. If you haven't ever been in one, likely you're going to be in one.
Sadly, unfortunately, the numbers are, it's true. But so those numbers are a little bit light in our opinion. There's got to be more. But to that end, the dollar amount. So scammers stole a record of $16.6 billion. Now that number got me.
Whoa.
That's a lot of money. And this is from the FBI, right? That marked a 33% increase from the year prior in 2023. I don't know about you, but that's a ton of money. That's just out in the abyss being stolen.
Yeah. I just read a story a couple weeks ago where a woman got scammed and they did it so well that the bank was like, no, this looks like you.
Crazy.
And she couldn't pay her rent. She couldn't pay anything. So, I mean, these are devastating lives. And like you said, it can take years to recover.
Yeah, and that's how we want to do this show. This might be a little bit off the beaten path, but it's also not. It's a little bit more of a serious topic because it's like, this is happening all the time. So probably the first thing we want to talk about when it comes to accounts or spending or your money is not using a debit card. So I've always said this as a financial advisor, and it's kind of a tricky one because you're like, wait a minute, you're saying use a credit card? I am.
I feel like that's anti like what I grew up learning.
Correct.
Of like debit card was the smart, responsible thing to do. Credit card was like the...
But it's the easiest thing to hack. It's the easiest thing to get into. And here's the thing. You have to understand the words in accounting and in the financial world. There's a debit and a credit. A credit is someone lending you money, i.e. American Express or Visa or MasterCard. They're lending you credit. Literally, they're using their money and you're paying them back. That's basically how credit works. So the word credit is an important key to this conversation. And you're like, well, Brad, you're a financial advisor. Why are you promoting debt? I'm not. I'm saying use the credit card as a debit card. But if you use the credit card and the credit card number or whatever gets hacked or scammed on, let me point this logically. Who's more inclined to get their money back? The person who lent you the money or the money received, the person who received the money?
The bank.
The credit card company, the bank. For sure. In your debit card, now banks are great. I'm not poo-pooing banks here by any means. Like when your debit card got hacked, they got on it because they knew it was fraud. That's a good thing, right? But I always had this like, maybe I'm a little cynical here, but I'm like, if that was a credit card company, I feel like they would have got it back quicker.
No,
because it's their money that's gone.
Yeah, no.
Meaning they're not going to receive the payment from you for the credit card bill because it wasn't your bill. Catch my drift?
Yeah, my mom has always taught me that too. Like the bank will always care about getting their money back more than getting your money back to you.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember the movie Catch Me If You Can?
Oh, yeah.
Love that movie.
Leo.
Yeah.
The guy in that movie, Frank Abagnale Jr. Remember that scene? Not Abagnale, not Abagnale. No, never mind. He was actually, so it was a true story, right? Yeah. And actually after he went to jail and everything, he actually became a huge person in the fraud and scam environment. He actually had a quote we wrote down here that every scam involves one of two red flags: the urgent need for money and asking for personal information. We literally just spoke about that. This is a guy who's spent years now preaching on it. The guy, one of the most, notorious at the time, posing as a flight attendant, writing checks off of Pan Am, all that kind of stuff. You can look up the story if you haven't seen the movie. It's amazing, right? But he also the guy who kind of created a lot of the modern scam technologies, the Micker readers and things like that. It's a pretty cool story.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool.
But it's interesting, the red flags he talks about, right?
Yeah, and just like my grandmother, like there was an urgency of like, her grandchild is in trouble, need money fast.
Yep. They're creating a need. And your debit, sometimes we don't know this. If you go to the gas station or those things on there, they have high-tech technology that can take the number. So I guess our first point is use your credit card for all purchases if you can. Wisely. Don't go keep debt on the credit card, pay it off, use it like a debit card, but use your credit card. And actually, we're starting with this one because we actually received a voicemail message on this one. Can you play that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, my checking account was recently hacked and they took all my money. Not even sure how they got into the account, but now I'm worried all my accounts, including my investment accounts, are vulnerable. Should I reach out to my financial advisor and let him know?
Yes, 100%.
That's a good question.
That's a great question. Thanks for leaving that. First off, I'm sorry. This is the part of it happens because what happens is if you get one item of your accounts, one type of account, whether it's a bank account, an investment account, I highly recommend you letting the parties know that have other accounts. So for example, if that was a checking account, for example, let the bank know, obviously. Absolutely let your advisor know because yes, if they can get into one, they likely can get into others, which by the way, I think also leads into my second point here, which is passwords. So again, some of these things seem elementary, but to this comment as well, definitely contact those people, advisors, banks, 100%. But also, let's be honest, and I'll ask the room here. How many times do you use the same password across different platforms?
Okay, it's actually funny you were asking that because Jared was talking about it before this episode. And I was like, I haven't changed my password since 2020. And I use the same password for everything, but not anymore. I just changed all of them.
I have a rotating like 4 that
same.
I use that I really shouldn't.
So it's hard because if you're like me and probably like you guys, it's hard because I don't want to have to remember umpteen different passwords on things.
No.
I think there's lockboxes and apps you can use. My wife is really good at it after she went through her thing like 10 years ago. She keeps like all these passwords in a locked box. And so as she changes them, she just goes into it. It's like really easy. So like, I feel like we're super secure that way, but I have a kind of a rotating 4 or 5 that I kind of change a $sign out or an exclamation point or a number or whatever, right? Yeah. But I cannot stress this enough, and as elementary as this might sound, using strong passwords. Because, for example, that voicemail is a great example. If you did use strong passwords in different ones across the board, I could answer that question a little differently. Because if they likely got in through a password hack or something like that, they probably couldn't get the other ones. See what I mean? Yeah. You still want to make the call and alert everybody to that, and I would still change those passwords, but it eliminates the possibility or the probability a little bit more.
I would say likely on a checking account, it was through the debit card because they have those. Like when I had mine, it was somebody, they tracked it back to this Gap store that in like an outlet mall that it had
Shopping
a cloner.
at Gap, dude? Back in the day?
15 years ago.
Gap is making a comeback. Wait.
The poo-poo?
They're making a comeback.
So everyone's using the poo-poo thing now. I got heat for that. I said it the other day. Like, where'd you get this poo-poo? So in Hawaiian, they call like poo-poos or platters or appetizers.
Poo-poo?
No, poo-poo. Like, oh, you want an appetizer? Oh, you want some poo-poos? So like the kids and I would use that because the kids thought it was hilarious, right? So now I can say, oh, I'm poo-pooing. And someone said the other day on the comment on the video, they're like, what are you saying? I'm like, you ever heard that term before? Like, oh, you're just poo-pooing something?
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, sorry, what were we saying?
The Gap is awesome. Moral of the story.
Moral of the story, Gap is awesome.
Moral of the story is
don't buy from Gap. No,
probably your debit. But I do this. Yeah. This brings up a good question because I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't know if this is probably embarrassing because I should know. But like,
ooh, this is good. I want it.
When I have like my IRA or my investment accounts, the login information to like check those or get into it, like my advisor has those, or should I have those?
No, your advisor doesn't have those.
Like when he's making trades
on an investment platform, so there's different ways to answer that. But on an investment platform, you're allowing discretionary authority to your money manager, your investor, your investment manager, to manage the account. They typically will have what they call an institutional access to a custodian like Schwab, Fidelity, Pershing, whoever, right? It's different than the retail client facing. It has the same infrastructure when you look at it, but we don't ever have the passwords for our clients. So when a client calls in and says, hey, I got to change my password, it doesn't affect how we see it, right? Because we see institutionally.
So I will have my accounts. And so if I do get hacked, I should probably let them know. I mean,
yes. But if you get hacked on that side, it's still good for us to know because we want to be on the alert. Because maybe it didn't come through a password, or maybe it didn't come through a debit card. Maybe they're accessing your stuff through some other way and they're trying to get through us through an email, as in my example earlier, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's just good to let us know, for sure. To that voicemail was a great one too.
Because you're probably, if you're using like you or us, well, let's be real, most of us, if they get into one with a password, they're probably going to
that's why I brought it
around and check the rest of the thing.
Most of the times the passwords are either the same or like roughly the same, and they can kind of use that to their advantage. And there's actually a term for that. It's called credential stuffing. This is a method that takes advantage of users who reuse passwords. That's why I brought it up. Okay. They use it across multiple accounts. Scammers use lists of stolen username and password combinations from data breaches and try them on online services. So you're ever wondering like, how do they get my password? They basically go through stolen username and passwords that they were able to access, right? And what they'll do is they'll use combinations of those across all different, they don't know if you bank at Chase or Wells Fargo or Bank of America. They're using it across all platforms. Wild, right?
Wow.
There's another one that actually we brought up as well called brute force attacks. There's scammers use automated tools basically to guess passwords.
This one frightens me a little bit because in my research, I literally found a program. I was kind of just Googling like tools and things like that. And I came across a site, a link to a password hacker. But it went to a site that I could literally download this program, put it on my computer.
Yeah.
And it's one of these where it basically just runs passwords and algorithms until it hits. And it's an what do they call it? Open source program for people to just hack passwords.
See, that's sad. We live in an age where we have to have these kind of episodes to show this. Oh, scammer. Call. Yeah. I get about 6 of those a day.
Not answering.
Those ones, to be fair.
I get so many of these.
There's so many of them. I think everyone can relate to that.
Wait, you guys, have you seen the YouTubers that will like answer the car insurance? Is that the main one? Your car warranty is expired.
Oh, is that what it is?
Okay, so Dylan and I spent a Saturday.
The guy with the blue hair?
I think maybe. But he literally...
Hold on, to be fair, what YouTuber streamer doesn't have blue hair?
I mean, you're a YouTuber technically.
Oh.
Oh no. Anyway, so
I have a lot to say about this.
Wow. Come back to that.
Off
camera.
I'm gonna let that one pass.
He answers these phone calls and he'll be like, "Oh, really? My car warranty?" And he'll play the bit.
Yeah.
And they'll be like, "Do you have a Ford F-150?" And they'll be like, "Yes."
How'd you know?
I do. And they'll be like, plays the bit, whatever. And then he'll get right until he'll be like, "Oh yeah, I got the gift cards because you can download like these AI, I'm walking in the store sounds, stuff like that." And he'll be like, "Okay, I have the gift cards." And then the guy will be like, "Do you ever hate yourself for stealing money from people? Like, do you lie awake at night
Just go blank.
Yes.
It sucks that this is a reality, but it's the truth. And unfortunately, we live in a world where there's a lot of bad apples. So we literally have to be on guard at all times. And I think, by the way, you should be asking, like, if you're working with as a financial advisor, you should ask them about their technology for protecting you, because it is sensitive information, right? These are all really important things, no doubt. All right, number 3, do not log into accounts on unsecured Wi-Fi. I always tell my clients this because emails coming into us, I'm like, hey, as long as you do it not from a Starbucks, or no offense to Starbucks, but an unsecured Wi-Fi network. Remember, like, you get those logins when you log in the airport or something like that. It says, hey, this is an unsecured network. Don't send information that way.
Yeah.
I know this, again, sounds very simple, but I think we do it out of ease and efficiency and not realizing we're doing it. Like, you're at an airport and you're kind of dealing with someone with work and you're getting on a flight and you just want to send something. You forgot that you logged into the Wi-Fi network and now I just sent, like, a bunch of information. Like, I'm so adamant about that with myself. I turn my Wi-Fi off there and I'm only on cell data just because I'm talking via my firm all the time with stuff like that. And it's like, so unsecured Wi-Fi is a very easy way to have your information exposed.
So kind of the reason you don't want to do that is because, like, one of the techniques they use is they put up their hotspots. Like, scammers will put up a hotspot in a public area and people just see that, like, Wi-Fi thing with no lock.
Oh.
They're like, oh, free Wi-Fi. Well, you're logging into their system and then they have everything you're doing right there. So that's one thing to keep an eye out for. And I think there's devices, like there's actual physical things or on your computer that they can
ping to
the information that's going from your phone over here.
Cookies, like on websites.
Yeah, they'll actually literally intercept it out of the air.
All right, number 4, never keep a lot of money in your checking accounts.
Can you define a lot of money?
Yeah. Okay. So I started my career at the bank. And they have something called FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or something like that. It's been years, I forget. And they basically say you don't want to have more than $250,000 in a checking account, otherwise it's not FDIC insured. I'm not a never say never kind of guy, but I just don't feel like people need to be over neurotic about this to a point. But I do think it's worth, if you have a lot of monies in checking and savings accounts because of your own financial picture for whatever reason, it can't hurt you to spread it across different things, or different banks. Just for maybe have a business bank, a personal bank that you work with, those kind of things. I just think it's probably important. Depends on where you put your cash.
So if I have like $250,000 in my checking account and then $250,000 in a savings account, do you think I should split it? You're saying split it to different banks. So maybe half of that at Chase, half of that at somewhere else.
Well, you don't really want, in general, a lot of money in your checking account.
So yeah,
anyway, right?
I was answering that to the question
smart,
very, very literally.
Yeah.
But yes, my advisor brain would kick in and be like, why do we have so much money in just cash not working for you? Now, granted, not knowing the situation, maybe that is your 3 to 6 months of overhead for all I know.
Good for you.
Good for you, right? Could be. But my point is, if that is the case, it can't hurt to split it up. All right, so the 5th one I want to bring up here is, and this is tricky because, I mean, you don't want to be like living in your investment accounts because it can create anxiety. It's a separate subject matter, but I do think it's important for you to monitor your activity. I have a good friend of mine who actually, we work together here, and I love the man. He is neurotic. Love him, but he literally, like, religiously checks his account morning and night. Like, he's of the mindset that people are out to get him every day.
That's too much.
I love him though. He's great. But like, monitor it a lot, maybe not like that much, but it is important to know because you might go a couple of weeks without realizing something, hit in your debit account if you are still using a debit account and need to go after that. So monitoring all your financial accounts is probably a good thing.
It's smart. My wife probably does this every couple of days ago, but she'll go through the credit card statement and she'll identify like, hey, what is this? Because a lot of scammers will take everything, but some will just piecemeal so you won't notice.
And that's the scary stuff.
Over a long period of time.
I agree. Monitor it often. All right, last and final one. We mentioned it earlier, two-factor. I gotta be honest with you. This one pisses me off on a daily basis because two-factor authentication is very annoying to get things done and work.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Right? We all can, it sucks, but it's pretty important.
It's one of the best things you can do.
It probably is the best thing you can do for any of your accounts on just a basic level, other than the other points we made, to make sure someone who does happen to get your information has to go through two-factor authentication and can't do it.
There's something about it that I'm like, if I can't even get into my own accounts
right through
two-factor, like there's no way that other people can, right?
Yeah.
get some peace with your financial world when it comes to hackers and scammers through actually building a strong connection point between some of these things we brought up to you today to protect yourself. Because at the end of the day, you can rely on a firm, a bank, or something like that, but it's also going to come down to, as Tom Cruise said in Top Gun, the man in the box. It's going to come down to you.
Man in the box.
You got to do it. You got to be involved here. Okay.
Complacency is probably the biggest thing hackers used to go after you. If you're not even paying attention, then you're.
And I think one of the things that happens is we rely on, if I get hacked, the bank's just going to bail me out, right? And look, they should if it's legit for sure, but I don't know, man. I wouldn't rely on that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that one today. We did all the 6 points we brought up. As always, thank you to all of our subscribers who watch our show. If you're new to the show, we come out with episodes each week. Next week, we're talking about
AI.
Ooh. Specifically,
AI is the devil.
No, but specifically why financial advisors are still way more valuable to you than AI. I have a lot to say about that. I know I'm coming at you biased, but I spent some time on this one.
I'm calling it why Brad is better than AI.
Fine, I'll go with that.
Just Brad.
I will beat the computer. Anyways, it'll be a good one. We look forward to seeing you guys next week. And as always, if you lead with love, you'll be all right. See you guys.